Hello again everybody, welcome back. I'm Mr. JP, the game is Out of Ore. Big thank you to everybody who's viewing and subscribing. Absolutely awesome. This is a bit of gameplay video and a bit of a tutorial on the machinery and construction. I'm going to run over it again because people are still on the Discord and in the Steam and in the comments on my videos. They're mentioning that the construction is glitchy, so hopefully this video will take you through some bits of it. First thing, when vehicles destroy buildings, it's because you've left this switched on. I've done it myself and driven a bulldozer across a bridge and ended up going through it. It happens. So yeah, so that's the first thing, is the demolition mode. Make sure you turn off demolition mode. I've done a video on it before. So we're just going to quickly gently rip out some of these across here. You can see it says press left mouse button to demolish. As I walk backwards, it disappears. But if I press C, zoom out a little, and press C again, do it a bit more, and then move, oh look, press left mouse button to demolish starts to appear again. So you can change where you lay blocks and where the pointer's area of effect is by zooming your view in and out, which I am doing, but because I'm against the landscape. See, in and out, and that'll change where you lay the blocks. It's kind of handy. So yeah, demolition. We'll just take that riser out, which, because I've zoomed in, I have to get close to do it, you see. I'm going to take out this whole run because I'm probably going to need them. Try not to spend too much money. My money's gone up from that 1.4, 1.6 mil that I had to around 3 mil because I sold off the bulldozer with the handrails. The handrails don't do anything. I figured they're just extra texturing and shadows on the model, so I got rid. I'm going to leave the rest of the machine in place at the end here. Might have that small hopper off a bit though. For the moment, just because I don't need it. So it can just sit there. All of this machinery can just sit up this end. I am going to have its ejector line. And I can't reach. So, zoom out. Left mouse button to demolish. Now I can reach. It's really handy for building high altitude buildings. Likewise, if you played Minecraft, building a tower of blocks so that you can stand up there and reach. Always a good one. And always move what you've demolished out of inventory slot 1, because quite often the thing you're demolishing appears in the slot that it was in or in slot 1. So currently I haven't got a hopper. Delete it. It's in slot 1. If I move it out of slot 1, any hopper I delete from now on should land on that big hopper, but do check. So when deleting large sets of stuff, it's kind of a good idea to delete one part at a time, so the same part. So delete all of the straight conveyors, then the ramped conveyors. As far as I'm aware, stuff doesn't collapse. It just stays in the air when you cut it off from both ends. Excuse me. So with that borne in mind, it makes editing the machinery quite a lot easier. However, I don't know what happens when you load a game with something unsupported in it. I haven't done that yet. It may well be that it will go, oh, that's unsupported, and fall. So, yeah, it all depends. Now, you see, I'm having problems connecting here, finding the node. There we go. And the nodes are on the 4 corners of the face in the middle, from what I can tell. And you can rotate an object by either holding down the left mouse key, which can be annoying because you'll move and you'll lose your node. However, it is a very handy quick way of doing business. Or you can use 1 and 3 on the D-pad to rotate them if you want something a bit more specific. Likewise, if you've got a component that's... See there, that transport was in that slot and I had transports down here and it put them up there, which is interesting. There's something funny going on in the inventory system. Like, the system has its problems, don't get me wrong. So when something's floating in the air like this, you can rotate it in the air to any angle you like. So you can build a grid that's independent of the base grid, feed like a conveyor from any angle into a hopper catcher and get it onto your main line, which is how I'm going to be doing business. So what I'm doing here is I'm walking backwards and forwards. I've got this rotated into the position I roughly want it. This allows me to get it to about the right height of the node that I want to connect to, and this is the backwards building. So I line up the nodes on my ghost frame with there, and you can see it's sort of starting to lock around and jump around and doing all these crazy things, and that's the thing that people are saying they don't like about it. I understand why, but you get underneath it like this, turn it, you can see I'm actually beyond where I want to be. So we'll just turn that a bit more, get it into roughly where you want it. That locked onto a bit further down. And all of the problems I'm having right now is to do with view. So, how far out am I zoomed? Oh, I'm zoomed out all the way. Zoom in into about halfway. Go back into that view, go back into that view, just to check. Rotate it again. And funnily enough, we start to get a lock point there. So we'll rotate it again. And this backwards building, it needs work in my opinion. Yeah, it's short, but once you get the knack and you find the angle that gives you the snap that you want, which is there for me, there we go, just walk backwards each time, away from the object, and you'll see it all. Once those nodes line up, snap. So the node you're aiming for is actually 4 blocks of the little square construction blocks toward you than the object you're trying to attach to. You see, so snap. Trees get in the way. I recommend clearing them with a loader, but I can always come along here and just tip with the dumper and get the same kind of effect. But these trees are starting to really get in the way, as you can see. So yeah, clearing the landscape, depends what you want to do. You could always blow a hole through the landscape and put this in a tunnel if you wanted to, you know. A few different ways. So yeah, I mean, the two most important things are to remember in construction: turn off your demolition, and that it's node based, and the node that you're fitting to is on your pointer and can be moved in and out by zooming the view. I think you can do it on the mouse wheel as well, but the calibration's really bad. You have to like rotate it millions of times to get the view to go in and out. I'm hoping they work on that. Also hoping they work on the sensitivity of the controls for the loader, because to take the loader's arm up and down takes forever. I've tried turning them up to 3, I've tried turning them down to 1.5. I'm really not getting it. So if anyone's got any advice on that, like which way does the sensitivity work? Is 3 the most sensitive or the least sensitive? And is like the point numbers the most sensitive? I get what the dead zone is, and that's kind of useful as well if you want the dead zone. Let's say you don't want to move the bucket much, but you want to move the arm more. You can make the bucket's dead zone bigger so that your mouse left and right as you go up and down doesn't activate the bucket. A lot of people have got a gripe with the settings and the controls. When you set up any of the controls to custom, click save in the menu you're in, and then click the back arrow and click save all settings down at the bottom. That will do the job. It's some kind of weird glitching gripe in the system. I'm not a programmer, as I've said before. I've just got electronics qualifications and have been in engineering. I'm a carpet fitter. That's what I've done as my trade. But I've been working around engineering for a very long time, so most of the time it's a case of been there, done that, because I pretty much didn't know what I wanted to do with my life, so I hopped from job to job in the first few years doing many different things. It doesn't do your CV much good. However, it does give you some seriously improved, not viewpoints, but attitudes towards general industry. You start to understand more about how one industry leads to another, for instance, in life. And yeah, got that hopper over there. I think that's the wrong place for it. Let's delete that. Check the menu before you delete something new. Make sure that slot's free, because it will end up there. It may seem a bit weird putting... It is a bit weird. I'm not going to put that hopper under there. We'll go straight away with the transport. Now, people have been moaning about they want a shorter conveyor. If you need a shorter conveyor, mount it somewhere else. So, for instance, I'm going to mount that one like that. and that gives me a conveyor underneath the hopper that doesn't stick out at all and is in fact not locked onto anything. That is out of line. And you can see that at the end there by the nodes. So we'll get rid of that. Now I don't actually need a short one there, so let's see. You can see that the node that the thing is fixed on when the conveyor is facing away from you is bottom right. So as you look at the node you want to fit to, you want to look bottom left. See, so I'm fitting to the node, the top node of my ghost image is fitting to the bottom corner node of the image of the hopper above. But I'm aiming 2 blocks lower at the node that I want to fit it to. You see? Sorry if I'm being pedantic a bit about this, but in my opinion, I've got a high IQ or EQ, whichever it is, I'm not really sure, but absolutely no drive. But it means that when I read stuff or play with stuff, I just sort of figure it out quite quickly, which is kind of useful. Right, we need another small hopper, jaw crusher, hopper out. Yeah, so I need another small hopper, so we'll go back to the camp again. And here, to avoid any troubles that you may have in here, zoom right in when using the shop, because that makes the icons for hitting, you know, the general store and that kind of thing an awful lot bigger. Whilst I'm here, I'm just going to put my dozer back onto the back onto the L category as well. Just because the XL ones are nice, but they conflict with the chassis on the model, which I don't really like. And I'm wondering about handling. I'm having a lot of problems with bounce from the popcorning on the bulldozer model, so I'm going to make the tracks narrow again and see if that helps, because I had a dozer on the small tracks and it seemed to be better in the rough terrain. Let me know in the comments what you think, because I'm pretty much convinced that the tracks and tyres are cosmetic. If I'm wrong, let me know, because I'm going to go blooming modding, do some improvements. So yeah, now that I've zoomed right in, I'm having problems finding that node again. Ah, there, it did it. Right. When you zoom in and out, you can see the parts getting smaller and larger. So you can sort of zoom out until it lines up and click. There we go, that was a better demonstration. So you can see with a bit of practice, it isn't that hard to use. In all honesty, it is not hard to use, this system of construction at all. And right, just because I want it that way round, don't know why. It's going to be a pest and it's not going to allow me to fit it that way round easy. Oh no, it is. There we go. Click. Right. The joy of the left mouse click is it locks your viewpoint whilst you're holding right mouse to rotate a component. It'll lock your viewpoint in place, which is kind of useful. Now I really don't need a hopper under that because it's going straight. It's going to go straight out to the base. So, oh, and the levels are right. If this lines up, it'll be an absolute miracle. I'm not talking about the alignment for the construction, I'm talking about the alignment to the actual base. Like I say, so maybe one thing you can also do if you're having problems is find a node where it locks on like that. Then walk sideways about 2 blocks, rotate it to roughly the right place. Walk sideways a little bit more, it'll find the node, rotate it, click. There we go. And now you see what they mean about wanting a one blocker, because that doesn't line up. Lines up for the turn, doesn't line up with that conveyor. So you can put in a one block, or you can change the way you do business. All right. Now changing the way you do business probably sounds like I'm saying you're crap, but I want to be one block further that way. So that being the case, you install your transport this way around, under here. Means I'll have to put in an extra turn, but it gets rid of that 2 block problem. And this is what I meant by my gripe against lazy gamers, is if you find a problem in a game, Find a solution. Start thinking, Google generation. Like, no offense, if you're not aware, what's going on in the world at the moment is called the end of oil. Okay, and this is serious. Russia have just managed to stop exporting oil to the rest of the world without having to do so. Okay, this sounds a bit weird, but they've started a proxy war that means absolutely fuck all. They're doing stuff that really, it's ridiculous in that war. But it's a war of recruits. Now, bearing that in mind, what they've just managed to do is get the rest of the world to ban them from exporting oil. If you wanted to stop exporting oil anyway, and you didn't want to panic everybody, getting everybody to stop doing it deliberately themselves is better than telling them that you're not going to sell it anymore. Because it means you can hide the fact you're running out. Alright? So, with the end of oil comes the end of all agriculture. We're all going to starve. It's horrendous. Like, I've looked into this as part of a research group that I was a member of, and yeah, if you're the Google generation who has to look everything up on Google to find out anything and doesn't remember anything, you're screwed. It's that simple. Sorry to say it, but that's the way it is. If you can't figure stuff out and how to do stuff in this world that's coming, you're going to have a problem. So yeah, I kind of can't wait for it, because the utter crud of the world that we currently live in really does me in. So I still need to be 2 blocks that way. Oh no, it's not going to line up. Okay. Right. I haven't got my alignment right. At least I don't think I have. It looks close, but it isn't quite there. So, we've got to get inventive. I think so. We'll have a look. Just see what... yeah, there's definitely no alignment there. What's throwing that out? Probably the drum. So we'll throw in a left. No, we won't. We'll demolish something first. Don't be an idiot, JP. I might have to get in here with a digger to do what I want to do, but we'll see. So we've got transport up there. Demolish that one. What's the alignment like here? Not so bad. Okay. So yeah, I'm getting a bit freeform on this machine. I'll probably rebuild it later so it is actually linked to this base machine. But for the moment, because this machine's kind of mobile, we can do it this way. So I've built that hopper there, got that there, transport up. And this will be a bit more laggy because it will generate particles between the 2 conveyors, which is something you want to avoid. You want to avoid generating those little balls as much as possible. So that's going to go up like that. Going to put a transport in there, but I reckon it's going to be too far. Just a little bit too far. Okay. No big deal. Think this through, change how I'm doing it. Zoom out a little bit so I can delete that one. Zoom out a bit so we can delete that. Let that one away. Move it out that slot so it doesn't get deleted. Move that one away. And we'll go back to having a transport this way around under here. So yeah, construction takes time. You have to think about what you're doing, sort of figure out where you're laying stuff, find the right nodes, of course, like that one. Now we'll put the transport. Oh, I left demolish on. That was lucky. It's alright when you're building unit components to leave demolish on, but yeah, don't recommend it at other times. So now I've got this sort of set up here, and that alignment isn't bad. So, get rid of those transports down to there, get rid of that down to there. That's a left, that's a right. Ooh. Now that might actually help me out. Put a left into there. This might actually save me a lot of trouble. And return back to camp. Why? Check that demolish mode isn't switched on before you open this door, otherwise you're going to have an open building instead of something with a door on. And one small hopper. Now, for those of you watching who are part of the cheat crew, there are some things you can do to make this quicker and easier. One thing you can do is park a vehicle where you're building so that you can just click drive, confirm, jump out, and you're back in the room. Yeah, that sort of helps. I'm not sure whether I'm doing the right thing putting all these hoppers into the system. We'll see whether that lines up or whether it leaks. But one thing I am going to do is change a component in this rig, because I think it might be causing me a bit of an issue at this end. See, I've got a small hopper into there. I'm just going to take one of the hoppers out, pretty much. It's only there as a buffer. And you see that whole rig is actually suspended in free floating air now. So I'm going to put a transport in here instead, like that, just to see if it changes how it delivers stuff to the Grizzly. Just go up to my DX800. Oh, I got the name right, impressive. My head has its moments. I am really smart, but I'm also really scatty. It's all a bit crazy, but it makes life fun, you know. I can smart my way out of a situation, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, uh-oh. So it's a bit weird. The track pads are in the maintenance section. You can see that my vehicle needs some maintenance here, but currently I don't think those do anything, because they're running and running and running. So yeah, put the large track pad on. Yeah, this one's only done 2,000 hours, you know, with no oil filters, and yeah, they look a bit better. They're not quite as conflicty. So the fact that the extra large trackpad doesn't fit a dozer makes me think that there is a bigger dozer on the way. I hope so. It may not be in the game yet because it's a lag machine. I may well go over to using a smaller dozer and just keep that thing around for road building. So, okay. Hopper built over there. Machinery's all up and together. Quick save. Always remember to save. Wait for the lag and the delay in the system. That's about 10 seconds. This may well be because this game was started before the last update. I'm going to ask a question about the Discord on that today. It may well be that this map's going to get reset again. We shall see. We shall see. Still waiting for the recording counter to carry on. There we go. So that's saved. Right. So let's start this up. See if it all works, shall we? So yeah, that's online. Get close enough to actually see it. Zoom out a little. There we go. That's running. Okay. Go over to this digger, or loader rather, the 501. I do like the 501. It's my favourite vehicle, I should think. Let's have a look. Ah yeah, another 2,000 hours on this. So I don't know whether that's from purchase or how many you've actually done. Interesting, it was stuck in reverse gear, gear 1. That sometimes happens. The gearbox sometimes sticks in gear on its own. If that happens, just press X. It will reset to neutral and you can sort of start again. It's pretty much the way I look at it. So yeah, loaders, the bucket angle sets the angle of the sort of cut. So whether you get a level or a downhill or an uphill. And then the up and down on the mouse, so the up and down on the loader arm, appears to be what starts cutting some serious balls. So you just gently oscillate the loader arm up and down, and I think I might change my settings around and see if it makes a difference. Yes, I'm using load lock, I'm a cheat. I like the feature, it makes it so much easier to play and you don't have to do so much smoothing. If you want your hardcore mode without it, it's pretty simple to use. You don't press B, welcome to hardcore mode. You don't need the programmer to put it in. Like, really? Anyway, we're back to the Google generation again. So yeah, I was born in the early 80s, people. Giving you an idea on my viewpoint, I remember Chernobyl live. I also remember drinking bad flavoured milk and conversations about how to deal with fallout, but we won't go into that because it'd probably scare everybody. You can't imagine being taught that if you see the flash like the flash of a camera, to dive under your school desk. Okay, that's what I was taught in infant school, along with charts on the walls showing how to recognise American and US bombers and Russian ones, and to tell the difference, and if you see a Russian one, to report it. So yeah, people, like, I remember a very different time. A time when the idea of digging your own nuclear shelter was actually plausible and something that the government were suggesting you do 10 years before I was born. Look into it, civil defence, it's an interesting subject. Thrive and survive, I think, was one of the things that the Americans used to say about it. Or strive to survive. But yeah, it's an interesting demonstration from an American marketing thing from their civil defence. They set off a nuclear bomb and they had 3 sheds, and the first shed was well maintained, painted white, all the stuff was tidied up around it. The second shed was in medium condition, it had some loose trash around it, but it wasn't too badly off, and the third one was a redneck shack that was rotted and not painted white and all of this kind of thing. So they detonate this bomb, and in the footage you can see like the flash, because they're outside of the blast and wind effect range. So there's a flash and everything sort of tries to ignite. So the one that's a dark colour bursts into flames, the one that's got the stuff like piled up around it and that catches fire because of the stuff around it catching fire, and the one that's all tidy and nice and everything actually does really well. So if you want to survive the flash of a nuclear explosion and you're not close enough to actually be blown to smithereens or flattened or vaporised, you want to be in a white painted building or vehicle, or something painted white basically. You wonder why all the Cold War bombers are silver and white. That's why. So yeah, enough of nuclear scariness and oil shortages. Sorry, I can be a bit scary because I actually am a realist and look at these things and think, let's not panic here. There's a way around it. There are ways to survive. The world is a big scary place. I will admit this. I'm as scared as the rest of you. But I ain't going to kick off and cry and run around about it. I've jokingly said I'm Arnold Rimmer because due to the NHS I can't pick up anything more than 10 kilos. I'm not allowed to get stressed or I'll rupture the bloody artery in my heart that they damaged. And so I can't really touch anything. But just like Arnold Rimmer, if I get the opportunity of kneeing death in the balls and walking away, I'm going to take it. And if you don't know what I'm on about, watch some Red Dwarf. You need it. If you've ever seen South Park, they've got a disclaimer on the front of it that says it shouldn't be watched by anybody. Yeah, Red Dwarf's similar, but Craig Charles is cool, Danny John Jules rocks, Robert Llewellyn, who plays Crichton, is awesome, and Chris Barry as Rimmer is pretty freaking hot too. Chloe Annett's an annoying chick, but she brings a certain element to the later series, certain feminine touch, something that Holly as a woman couldn't do. Basically have a body. Yes, Chloe Anna, along with Deanna Troy. Who else? Beverly Crusher, ironically. There's a few females in sci-fi and sci-fi comedy who are probably responsible for me being straight. I believe that environmental influence has as much to do with your sexuality as who you are. And so, yeah, the way that stuff is being promoted to the kids now, who aren't even at the age of knowing their own sexuality, you know, like the prepubescent, there's no point in teaching them about it all. I think you just have to let the world expose them to what it exposes to, and let them find out what's natural for them. I mean, geez, I went through it. As a little kid, you know, I started thinking about why am I a boy and that kind of thing. I looked at my body and I looked at the world and stuff, and kind of decided I liked being a boy and girls were cool. That's how it worked. I don't necessarily... I came to that conclusion in my own time, you know? Without anyone telling me what to think, or the woke way of doing business, or anything like that. I think it's a shame these days that the kids don't get that chance. They should be able to make up their own mind. If they're curious about it and they don't feel right about it, they're going to read up about it. That's what I did. Okay? Because I am full-on hetero, but yeah, you think about it, don't you? Of course you do. The idea of dating a guy, yeah, be a bit easier. No more arguments about stuff in the bathroom. You know, if I was going to go that way, I don't think I could date one of those ones with the high-pitched voices and all that bollocks. And it would probably be a celibate relationship, to be honest, because I'm not. I'm not. I'm not bent. And that's what it comes down to. Is you know inside, and if you don't have the time to sort of take out your soul and look at it, and you have all these external influences, I don't think it's going to help you out, you know. So I think some of these people who are promoting this stuff in the modern world, like all your psychologists and your social workers and all of your people who are mental health, they need to rethink some of it. It all needs a big rethink. Starting at school with the words everyone is equal. Everyone is not born equal. Some people have skills, some people have talents, some people have really high-speed minds that require a different system of education. And ironically, I'm talking about people who we class right now as damaged, like autism and Asperger's. Society classes these people as having a disability, and yes, they are not. If it's a severe case, of course they're not as capable perhaps as other people around them for certain aspects. But I've met some guys with like serious ADHD and autism and Asperger's, and geez, they can paint and draw better than me. They're really good at art. Like, another one's really good at maths. He was a computer programmer. You know him. I worked with him as part of a think tank. Those who know will know. He's the guy who hacked NASA and found out about a list of extraterrestrial officers. Very interesting guy. Yeah, governments don't like him. But yeah, he's got, I believe it's Asperger's, and very interesting. The doctors have accused me of having these things, ADHD, Asperger's, or autism. I need to be assessed for them, apparently. I'd like to explain to those two doctors that I hadn't seen anyone in 2 years, and I'm sat in a room with two females. One of them is highly attractive. My hyperactivity might be based on something else, like testosterone finally coming out after 2 years of being held in check. But, well, we shall see. I've suspected them of that kind of thing myself before now, so... But once again, you ask yourself these questions. I'm getting off subject. This was meant to be gameplay and construction guide, and I've started mining this. That's how addictive this game is. You can play it and talk about the end of the world and the end of oil, and think about all this other stuff whilst just quietly working your way through the hill. And that's what's happened here. I've been thinking about YouTube channels and making videos, and oh god, I've destroyed half the hill. Yeah, we'll just do a little bit more run here, see whether this machine's working at all. I haven't seen any cash pop up yet, but I haven't been looking. So I wouldn't expect any. This slope that I'm digging into is all of the stuff that I just tossed off the top of the bulldozer. And I'm just digging it through the machine. I decided to change how I was working. So yeah, we'll go and have a quick look-see after I dump this load and see what's going on. So yeah, that's all dumped in. Always remember your parking brake, they roll now. I found this thing in a hopper on one occasion. So yeah, we got dirt and pay dirt in that hopper. Love the fact you can open the inventory and still move. That's beautiful. 3000% in there. That hopper's working, so this line should be kicking out sort of in the direction of my road. Just check I'm not burying my road. Not that it matter, just bust it out again. So that's tipping out nicely on the waste pile. I'm going to do a subscribers only video at some point with all my little secrets and hints and tips, because there's a way of getting rid of waste piles quickly, which I'm going to show you. There's also hints from the menu, ways of mining. There's things I'm not telling people, of course there is. So we're down at the Grizzly and I'm not seeing anything coming out of that. Why is this? Is it because I've got a hopper on the end and it's not attached and it's actually holding material? Or is the material not got space to spawn before it ends up in the other hopper? What's going on here? What is going on? Yeah, we've got crushed rock going in there now, so okay. Might just be the fact that there was nothing to see. We've got a few little rocks spawning out the end of there now. It might just be that this stuff isn't very high and stuff. Because there's nothing going up the belts. There we go, there goes something. Into the hopper. Which is saying it's got stuff in it, and that's saying it's got stuff in it. Okay. You can run at about the speed that stuff goes through the hoppers, so you can actually chase a couple of bits, see them running along there on the conveyor line. Which is kind of handy, because it takes a while for stuff to run through a conveyor line. So we'll just get down over here. Just quickly watch. I'm watching the timer in the corner on the video. That's 10 seconds. 15. 20. I haven't seen it flick through here. Come on, where are you? Maybe it's not enough to register. Because it's taking its time. Or is it not making it? Is there a gap in the conveyor? Yeah. Now that's interesting. I'm wondering if there was such a small amount there that it was lost in the losses of the conveyors. I wonder. I wonder. Okay, I need to do some experimenting and run this machine a bit more heavily, I think. I think that's going to be the cure here. Coming up on 38 minutes of video, so I'm going to wrap this up, because otherwise you guys are going to be wasting your lives watching instead of mining. So yeah, I'm going to spend the next few hours running this machine, and I will probably catch you later on this afternoon when I've got something to report about this. And some progress, hopefully. This machine is... yeah, it's still taking its time over what it's got in it. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, there's more material going out there now. I know what I could do. Check that. Yeah, so it hasn't actually sold anything since midnight. So maybe hopper to conveyor's a bad move over here. Maybe the hopper is a good idea. I may have a leak in this. I may have made a mistake somewhere. Oh. No, 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 no. This is not right. This is not right at all. What are you playing at? So the problem was in this corner, where it was just, instead of turning right, spewing out the end here. So there's something that we've learnt today, people. Check your conveyors are actually connected in the correct way. I don't quite understand how that was happening. It might be that you can plug straight into the back here of a turn right and go straight through it. That being the case, that makes things quite interesting. That means that I do have a 3-ray splitter type affair, or wait, there we go, we're starting to pay now, it's all connected up properly. That's quite a good way to end the video, I think. So, big thank you to everyone who's been watching. Hope that you found this constructional shenanigans. Remember to turn off demolish mode. Yeah, I hope you found my construction shenanigans useful, and that this machine sort of here gives you some ideas of what's going on. This is a pile of filtered rock and stuff with some gold and stuff in it that I filtered out earlier when doing this, just as a trial. It's from when I bulldozed that entire ridge into a hopper and crashed the game. So yeah, thank you everyone who's watching and subscribing. You kind of all mean the world to me, because it's social interaction, which is something I haven't done in a while. So thank you very much for that. All the people who are commenting, liking my videos, subscribing. As I say, I'm going to work out how to do subscriber-only videos, let you in on a few hints and tips, possibly answer questions in the subscriber videos, maybe go live, I don't know. Let me know what you think about how you want the channel to expand, the kind of content you want to see in the comments. That'd be great. Thanks very much everybody. Big love to you all, and have a great day, and good luck with the mine.